Thank you. First of all, I move that the meeting be closed. All right.
I'm sorry.
So if everyone would, if you've had a chance to review the pre. Ms. Jan, can you hear me better now?
Much better, thank you.
Okay, we moved you closer.
In your compliance packet, you have the
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. Oh, shoot. Mm, mm, mm. I shouldn't need my laptop.
Hey, Stephanie, can you hear me?
It's Tina, but I can hear you.
Hey, Stephanie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Stephanie? Hey, Stephanie? Sandra, raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay. Hey, Stephanie, can you unmute so I can hear you? Oh, yeah, yeah. So we sent this today, Roberts. What you got? Oh, here's that one. Here, in case anybody else need a copy. Yeah. I gave some of the ones that were in there a copy.
Yes, sir.
Mm-mm. You know what? You may need, see if Sandra can say something. Because you're in a dead zone over there.
Philosophical space here.
Can you hear me?
Shan, can you hear me? Shan. Can you hear me?
Hello, Mr. Board. How are you? You know what the crazy part is? It's like a delay. I hear you. It's like,
Hey, Stephanie, can you hear me?
Helen, Mary.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Trey is here.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, Phyllis, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing fine. Doing fine. Waiting for the storm.
Oh, my. I know.
Oh, really? See, you're like the fashion guru. See that? Yeah, see? You're like the person in the know.
You guys are really social distance.
That's what we will hear it if it's, if we don't have more.
Now, I can't guarantee what that's about. Natural. I went to get some more and they were gone, but I'm gonna make this.
What are we having for lunch?
Miss Johnson, can you hear us?
Did you
Yes, ma'am, I can.
What did y'all do this?
We had free modes 2 days in a row.
No lunch today. I'm gonna start a mutiny there, Phyllis.
Oh, look, she looks like a real doctor today.
Trust me, Trey, they had lunch.
I believe that. I miss attending those meetings with that lunch, I'll tell you. Hello?
Is that you, Trey?
I'm here.
Yeah. I think maybe they muted.
Father Melissa.
Are they on there, I guess is the question.
Started.
Y'all, this is Jan. Have y'all already called it to order?
No, we're trying to find out how many board members are on the call, so we know one.
Okay, I'm here. Y'all are looking good. Masked bandits.
The masked bandits, that's correct.
Yeah, this is Jillian. Y'all already called me.
Oh, that's a reason.
We're on a delay. It's a delay because they're on YouTube.
All right. So right now we've got us, Jen Collins, no other board members on the phone at this time, correct? We'll go ahead and, you might want to text them right quick just to see.
Melissa is, she's got a bag.
All right. Like I said, Melissa's understanding.
Well, is Teresa the only
Right
other
now,
one?
we've got us, Jen Collins. She was in it.
Oh, okay.
We'll go ahead and, you might want to text them right quick just to see. Melissa says the Zoom meeting ID is. Actually, Melissa understands.
Or is Teresa the only
Right
one?
now, we've got us. Jen Collins. Go ahead and. This says the Zoom meeting ID is available.
Or is Teresa the only
Right now,
one?
we've got us.
Okay, Teresa says she's here, but she can't get audio.
Now we've got us.
I need you all to start asking just again, one more question, okay?
Okay.
Heard somebody
You know, that
comment.
has happened.
Maybe Cedra's talking
I
and.
do.
Now we've got us.
I need you all to start asking just again, one more question, okay?
Um,
Getting a lot of feedback from somewhere, guys.
maybe Cedra's talking and.
I do.
Now we've got us.
I need you all to start asking just again, one more question, okay?
Hey, can everyone that's not speaking mute your Zoom links, please?
Teresa said she can hear us, but y'all we can't hear her.
That's through the mic. Oh, no, that's on the YouTube channel. It's playback.
She's working on that ID number.
Are we live?
Where's Shannon?
Huh?
Where's Shannon?
She knows, he wants to explain to her. at the meeting.
Not anymore. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So, Alton. Gonna try to call it to order, he was just waiting to call the technical issue. Okay, all right.
All right. Do we have anybody, board members, on the call that we know of besides Jan? Teresa apparently says she can hear us, we can't hear her. Melissa's meeting ID was invalid. So. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go ahead and get started, call the meeting to order with a quorum. Shirley, would you mind opening this up?
Good morning, everyone. If you will, please bow your head in prayer. Most gracious Father, we thank you for the ability to be able to be here today, those that are virtual and those that are present here. Father, put your arms of protection around those that have been stricken by the coronavirus and those that are healing. Father, help us today to make the right decisions of everything that's going to be presented. Let your grace and mercy be done for us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
All right. approve the agenda, we have one addition. If you would go down right under 6.4 and before 6.5 and add in practice committee, somebody got omitted there. Outside of that, if there's no other additions, corrections to the agenda, have a motion to approve the agenda.
Michelle Owens.
Motion, Dr. Owen, second. Second, Dr. Stewart, all in favor?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Ms. Phyllis, can you speak a little louder? We're having a little difficulty hearing you.
Will do.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead to the open forum part. All right. All right. We come to the open forum part. Is there any, well, there's no one in the room. Is there anyone on the call that would like to make a statement? Okay. Welcome, Dr. King. Having no one ask to speak during the open forum, we'll move on. The next item on the agenda is Office of Nursing Workforce Committee Scholarship Fund Distribution. Ms. Culpepper?
Yes. Mr. President, today we bring a motion before the board to accept a scholarship, to release scholarship money from ONW for the colleges for the disbursement based on ONW scholarship application roster for fiscal year 2021, and that will be attached to the motion.
Any questions concerning the scholarship distribution? Have a motion, we approve that distribution of those funds.
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion TJ, second.
I'll second that.
Second, Dr. Stewart, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? On the call? Guess it's gonna be, okay. Motion carries. Board business. Have a motion, we approve the business Zoom meeting, July 24th, meeting minutes from July 24th, 2020.
I move that we approve the minutes of July 24th as circulated.
All right, have a motion, Dr. Stewart, second. Second, Ms. Nancy Norris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agreed settlement proposal minutes, July 2020. Do I have a motion, we accept those settlement minutes? Make a motion, Ms. Nancy Norris Johnson, second by Ms. Jackson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Board hearing panel minutes, October 2019, December 2019, and February of 2020. Do I have a motion that we accept those minutes into the record?
Make a motion, we approve.
A motion TJ, second Ms. Nancy Norris Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. As for motion, we waive the reading of names on motions.
Make a motion.
A motion, Ms. Brandy Taylor, second. Ms. Shirley Jackson, all in favor? Motion carries. For FYI, future meetings, agreed settlement proposal will be December 8th, disciplinary hearings December 9th and 10th, business meeting December 11th. The panel at that time will be Ms. Shirley Jackson, Dr. Melissa King, Ms. Nancy Norris Johnson, and Mr. TJ Adams. Next, we move to our legislation section. Is Trey still with us?
Yes, Alton, I'm here.
Okay, gotcha.
You want
You
me to
got the floor.
proceed forward?
Yes.
Wanted to say hello to everybody. Look forward to when we can all meet back in person again. Just want to give a brief update. The legislature left town adjourned last Friday. It ended up being basically a 9-month session. It started out just going to be 4 months. So I think that was probably a record under our current system of the way the legislature works during each year. The official sine die, they call it, which means the absolute end of the session is technically tomorrow, October the 10th. The 2021 session coming up probably looks like January the 5th will be the beginning, first day of the new session. Nothing official has been released yet to that effect, but that's what it appears to be. It will basically be a 3-month session coming up. I had talked with board staff. We always enjoy our Board of Nursing Capital Day. I also think that it's very beneficial for the board and for all the various professionals that the board regulates to have them come and interact with legislators. I had us a date set, really a good date, like middle of January, but got a call within the last couple of weeks from the Department of Finance and Administration stating that they were going to cancel all of the 2021 events in the Rotunda, much like happened later in the session last year. So I hope that maybe gets changed at some point, but as of now, they're not allowing any functions or activities, obviously due to the COVID concerns. But we'll continue to monitor that. I wanted to mention briefly, there was a couple of bills of interest to some of our board members. There was that just passed last week. They met the 1st and 2nd of October. One was Senate Bill 3055. That just simply, they're exempting hospitals from constructing ICUs, isolation rooms, negative pressure rooms, any related construction, exempting that from the CON law. So because due to COVID or concerns of a second wave, they want the hospitals to have more flexibility and be able to more timely effectuate new construction if needed. There was also $10 million set aside for hospitals in the state related to that type of construction. Second bill that was taken up last week passed was Senate Bill 3060. This was setting aside $10 million for an ICU infrastructure fund. And thirdly, Senate Bill 3059 was $10 million was set aside. Phyllis, I know this is near and dear to your heart, for the Veterans Affairs Board to help offset COVID-related expenses that have been incurred by our state veterans' homes, which I think is probably a good thing to do with some of the COVID money that the legislature was allocating. For the upcoming session, again, we've just had some preliminary discussions about full practice authority. I won't go into a lot of detail. Obviously, I've talked to some board members, certainly Phyllis and staff. That's something we will continue to discuss and closely look at as we move forward on how we may be proceeding on that issue when the 2021 session begins. It's still something obviously very important to all the folks, on the board, and particularly to those that are impacted by it. So that I have talked to the representatives that the Thompsons for the National Council State Board of Nursing, and we're going to continue to stay in contact and kind of see where we go. I will also tell the board that Senator Hobb Bryan is going to be holding some hearings. He had one recently, but he's got some others I think he wants to hold on various topics I will keep Phyllis and the board updated on those hearings as they are scheduled. There may be some things that the board or members of the board may want to possibly attend, and I will keep the board updated on that. Obviously, we'll have another meeting in December, board meeting, and in the interim, I will be talking with our executive director, our staff, and you, the board members, about potential other issues for the 2021 session. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thanks, Roger. Anybody have any questions from a legislative standpoint for? Okay. All right. Another, we'll move right along to the executive director report.
Good morning. Good morning to board members that I have not seen this week or have not spoken to today. Again, welcome. And I would like to take this opportunity to begin with recognizing that October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So to those individuals who are still in the struggle and who have survived the struggle, we salute you and continue to give you encouragement for continued hope and to keep fighting. Congratulations to those who have survived breast cancer. It is indeed something to be noteworthy of when you have survived breast cancer. So we congratulate you on that achievement and continued strength to those who are still fighting. So with that being said, let me first thank my staff. Again, they have done a tremendous job. We continue to conduct business here at the Board of Nursing. And so without such diligent and supportive and committed staff, I would not be able to do what I do. So thank you to all of the staff members. We'll proceed with the updates on the PowerPoint. I did want to bring to your attention a couple of congratulatory remarks here. Dr. Mary Stewart was selected to the American Academy of Nursing Fellows. Dr. Stewart is one of our board members. We salute you, Dr. Stewart, for that momentous achievement. In addition, we have another board member, Ms. Sandra Culpepper, who is one of our LPNs on the board, who was selected to serve on the National Council of State Boards of Nursing FY 2021 NCLEX Item Review Subcommittee. So we applaud you also, Sandra, for your commitment and your selection to serve at the national level. So if you all would give me a virtual round of applause for those individuals, I would definitely appreciate it. We are so proud of you. Thank you so much. As you can see, I was appointed to the NCSBN Board of Directors. That was a surprise, but definitely one that I have enjoyed. I did my first meeting about 2 weeks ago. I will be fulfilling the term of one of the other members for Area 3. I was selected to serve as the Area 3 Director. So it is because of the leadership and support that I have from the Board of Directors that I am able to do that. And this recognition is a reflection of your leadership and the staff as well. So thank you all for that. Moving on to board visibility. As you can see, we have been busy. This slide is a little bit different from our last slide. Due to the COVID-19, there was not a lot going on, but we have been extremely busy back with board visibility. Many of these things that you see on this slide, the staff have been involved in. We have Dr. Tina Hatfield, who's been presenting some conferences. We have Talisha Greenlaw, who is our licensure officer. We have Casey Loper with ONW, who has been presenting conferences. We have Shan Montgomery, who's been instrumental in a lot of conferences going on, and of course myself dealing with conferences. But we've had staff members that have been busy carrying out the business of the board. I do want to, and I think Dr. Hoover is on the call. I see her on the participant list, and I might be putting her on the spot, but I did want to bring up that from a national perspective, nursing students are having problems obtaining their clinical, and Dr. Hoover reached out, the Hospital Association, to the Board of Nursing, as well as IHL, and Dr. Jeanette McCrory is involved in that, the deans and directors of schools of nursing, to develop a task force to look at some things that could be done. And the board members, I will be sending you a copy of some guidelines that they have presented to us, just for informational purposes only, so that you are aware of what they're trying to do. Dr. Priscilla Burks has been instrumental and will be working with long-term care and in drafting some guidelines, possibly LPNs. And I'm not sure if Dr. Hoover can even speak.
I can. Good
Oh,
morning.
are you there?
I am here, yes.
Okay, if
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if you will allow me to allow Dr. Hoover to speak on this issue, because this is something at the national level as well, and I have enjoyed working with Dr. Hoover on this, and I'm just pleased that she reached out to us. So if you will, Mr. Chairman, allow Dr. Hoover a few minutes.
Absolutely. Dr. Hoover.
Thank you. Good morning. And thank you, Phyllis, for, first of all, for working with us. So as we got into past our spring COVID surge and into the summer when there was not relief, hospitals really began to suffer from pretty severe staffing shortages around nurses and respiratory therapists. So some comments that we had from schools of nursing were that their students were not being allowed into the clinical sites. Externships were cut in some areas. The hospital simply didn't have the bandwidth really to deal with a lot of that. And so we heard from the hospitals that they wanted the students in, but they needed them to be there in a different capacity. They needed some help. And so with the support of the task force that we formed that included Ms. Johnson and Jeanette McCrory from the Mississippi Institutions of Higher Learning, we developed a student nurse extender model that will allow student nurses to be hired, but they can also receive clinical credit. So many of the students now are completing their didactic work through either completely online or blended models. So that means they have more flexibility in their schedule. They can work nights and get up and complete some of their learning at any time that they might want to do that. So what we're doing, this is not something, it's totally voluntary. We're trying to do this on a temporary basis right now so that there can be some relief. Staff need vacations, and staff who are working in areas other than COVID areas are not getting a vacation either. And many times there's not anyone to take those shifts. So what we want to do is to put this out for the areas that do want to use it, for example, in the Delta, where those schools of nursing in that area and the hospitals can get together, decide how many students they can hire. And then the schools of nursing can decide how they will make that hire. And I mean, which students are allowed to do that. And from there, they will begin to really, from these rather broad guidelines, then decide what it is that'll work in their area. And so that's just a brief overview. And Ms. Johnson, I appreciate the opportunity to just speak a little bit about that and the Board of Nursing support in this and the temporary license as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Hoover before we move on? So thank you again. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just say no question in the room. Are there any on the phone? All right.
No.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Okay, I love Jan. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Hoover. Again, this is a national interest, topic of interest as well. So we will keep the board aware as to how this progresses. On the upcoming board visibility, you will see that we have the M&A conference coming up next week, as well as the National Council IT conference that will be coming up. Is that September 24th, 2020? I think that's I know at the IT conference, Shan Montgomery will be presenting at the IT conference that's coming up. So I think that date may be wrong on there. But the M&A conference is next week. Brett and myself will be speaking at that conference along with Dr. Highfield So we look forward to always participating with MNA in the RN and APRN conference that they present each October. And with that, I believe I did want to take this opportunity also to wish Ashley, our court reporter, a happy birthday. So I had to put that in there. Happy birthday to Ashley. With that, Mr. Chairman, I think that's all I have to report at this point. We can move on to the budget committee. Budget report.
Jan, you there?
Hello, everyone. This is Shan. Hope everyone's doing well today. Budget analysis as of August 31st, 2020. The fiscal year ended June 30th. The agency had until August 31st to finalize the fiscal year 20 budget. In finalizing the fiscal year 20 budget, during the last quarter, we were under the COVID pandemic restrictions, which curtailed travel. That allowed the board to go through the revisions of any contractual obligations. We were able to expand $4,286,287 for fiscal year 20. That was 85% of the budget expended by the end of June. Although revenue was down in fiscal year 20, the board ended the year with $4,029,722.53 cash balance. Fiscal year 21, the spending authority for fiscal year 21 began July 1st with $5,041,671. The expenditures for the first 2 months of the year were lower than the same time prior year due to the continuation of the COVID restrictions. All expense categories except for one are lower this time than this time last year. For example, the travel expenses are 75% below the fiscal year 21 expenses at this point. The only expense that are higher is the salary category, and that's primarily due to the low vacancy rate that we have at the board right now. Revenue at this point is higher than normal, and that's due to the licensure extension granted last year during the fiscal year 20 COVID. And including the background check, we've restarted doing background checks. That was a significant part of the increased revenue for fiscal year 21 beginning. Fiscal year 22, we have submitted the fiscal year 22 budget requests to the LBO office by the deadline, which was August 17th. We did not change much from fiscal year 20 budget. We did ask for a court reporter. We asked for a car replacement, and to offset those additional spendings, we did slightly reduce some of the other categories. The overall budget request for fiscal year 22 is $5,116,749, and that represents only a 1.4% increase. I'm open for any questions on the budget.
Any questions for Jan on the budget? There don't appear to be any questions, so at this time, we'll entertain a motion to accept the budget report.
Awesome.
Move that we accept the budget.
Ms. Jan Collins made a motion, seconded by Dr. Stewart. All in favor of approving the budget?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Committee reports. Executive committee, we have 2 administrative denials and then 1 issue to arise. As far as the administrative denials, move the license number R886475 and license number R898549 be denied. I have a second. I have a second. Senator Culpepper, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. The one other issue we had that came up, I'm sure it's getting normal, is the executive committee recommended to come out against Initiative 65. With that said, we're bringing this before you today to have that discussion to see if this wants to be a board approved thing. Now, if we go forward with this and approve and opposing Initiative 65, then there will be some language drafted up, and we'll probably come back for a quick meeting next week to approve that language as you see fit. So I will open the floor for any discussion on that.
The Business League hosted a webinar with both sides addressing 65, 65A, and I've heard numerous talks on this topic, and the more I hear, the more I am against. So that's just my opinion. This is Jan.
Thank you, Ms. Collins.
Mr. President. Just, can the executive committee summarize the points that would lead us to be in opposition as a nursing regulatory body?
It comes down to a few things. One would be the oversight of it is taken.
By the health department.
And putting something into the Constitution, we all run into situations, or we know of situations where laws have been created, and then once they're implemented, there's some unintended consequences, and they simply go back and correct those. If it's in the Constitution, simply going back and correcting it is very difficult. So you always look out for that. There comes the other part is dealing with the studies. How much evidence-based study is there to show the efficacy of it versus any kind of harm? There are medical marijuana type medications that have existed for years that are safe to use. This is not what this is talking about. And to also throw out there for people that may be confused on it, this is not something you're going to go in, get a prescription for, and go down to your local pharmacy and get filled. There will be dispensaries placed around the state, separate standalone, and right now, those dispensaries could be manned by whoever. So it just raises a lot of concerns.
Thank you.
And I guess to clarify the whole issue, we're not trying to we know there's a lot of different sides and opinions on the use of medical marijuana. This is simply saying this is not the right way to do it. Okay. If there's no other questions, make sure there's no one else on the phone that would board member like to speak. All right, if not, would have asked for a motion that we approve the opposition to Initiative 65 with language to be drafted forthwith to get back to you. Make a motion. Motion, Mr. T.J. Adams, second. Second, Ms. Shirley. Sorry, Shirley beat you to it. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
On the phone?
Aye.
The other two may be having technical difficulties. Any opposed? All right, motion carried. Other board business, we skip over compliance committee business.
We're bringing two motions today from the compliance committee, but also wanted to briefly mention our annual report from our fiscal year 2020, dated July 1, 2019 through June 30, 2020. Just at a high level review, activities, reviewed and directed activities of board staff regarding non-compliance and removal of stipulations, received and responded to board staff requests. Removal of stipulations 29, RNP completions 11, letters of concern 46, files referred for case review 49, agreed settlement proposals 66, board order received 19, and files referred to board acceptance of affidavits 28. Coming from the compliance committee, two motions today. I move that the board adopt the compliance committee's recommendation that the following affidavits, formal reprimands be accepted for ratification. License number R865497. And I move that the board adopt the compliance committee's recommendation to approve Dr. Benjamin Hudson, MD, to be placed on the board approved assessor list.
There's a motion, TJ, can I have a second on that motion? second, Mr. Blake Ward. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Advanced practice. Dr. Stanford, can you speak or
She can't.
she can't? Okay.
She said there's nothing to bring forward from APRN.
All right.
Wait, I'm slow. Okay, nothing to bring forward from APRN other than we are working with the practice committee to develop a decision tree.
Thank you for that update. Moving on to that, we have inserted practice committee. Dr. Stewart.
And Dr. Stanford stole my thunder. So, no, Dr. Burks has volunteered to chair the ad hoc committee and will be working with Dr. Stanford as well as Ms. Highfield and other volunteers to bring that decision tree forward.
Outstanding. Okay, other committee business, administrative code. It's just an update on two things. Part 2815 and Part 2840 are dealing with continuing education. They have made it through the public comment period. They're ready to be filed as a final rule to go before OLRC. Part 2825 is the Fresh Start Act, which also has made it through the public comment period and is ready to be filed as a final rule. Wes asked we would just get official board motion action to go ahead and file those two as a final rule for OLRC to review. So would ask for a motion that we officially file Part 2815, 2840, and Part 2825 as a final rule. A motion, Mr. Ward. Second, Ms. Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, LPN Education Committee. Ms. Taylor?
There is new business today for the LPN committee. We came up with some goals for the fiscal year 2021, and some of those goals include developing and building strong relationships and partnerships with LPNs and practice to assist in meeting their educational needs via informational webinars and conferences, collaborating with the Mississippi LPN Association to increase participation in LPNs professional organization, collaborating with schools to identify resources needed to support the addition of LPNs to the workforce. For example, next gen, test taking tips, professionalism, time management, scope of practice, developing and building strong relationships and partnerships with nursing, and collaborating with practicing LPNs to identify resources related to best practices, which include medication administration, wound care, and professionalism.
Sounds perfect. Thank you for your work there. Finance Committee, Dr. King, do you have, can you speak is a question? You sound very well.
I can speak. I don't have anything to bring forward. Shan has given a good update.
All right, thank you. Methods of operation, Mr. Ward?
Mr. President, nothing to report at this time.
Emergency practice and standards, Ms. Moore? And O&W, Ms. Culpepper?
At this time, coming out of O&W, of course, we asked for the motion to release the funds for the scholarships. We are currently still collecting data, which his advised me should be completed within the next week or so. So we'll have that data analysis. As well as in November, we will have a quarterly meeting, which we will start going through what's upcoming for the next year.
Thank you for that. All right, we come down to the end of it here. I'd like to ask for a motion to go into closed session to determine if executive session is necessary. A motion, Mr. Ward, second. Ms. Nancy North Johnson, all in favor? Motion carries. The meeting is now closed.
Hey, Alton, are you going to send out a different link for that, for the closed session?
Are they going to participate? Okay, she's getting with Shan, and we'll see if we can get that figured out. That's how we do.
Are y'all talking or have I lost my audio?
Jan, I think they've muted us.
They have us on mute because that's why they're trying to figure out what we need to do for a close session. Hey, Melissa, Jan, and Teresa, you all have an email that was just sent to you for the executive session. Great, thanks, Shan.
Did it come from Phyllis? No. I haven't gotten it yet.
Did you get it yet, Jan?
No, not yet, but I'm hitting the send receive about 100 times.
I got it, Jan, so it should come through shortly.